Capricorn. This is your May 24 soul story if you have a sun rising or moon in the sign. Hopefully this reading will give you some messages that prove valuable as you move through the next few weeks. It is Romy here. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. We're going to open up with the energy of the Fool. Now, being the strong one can be exhausting. And I think in May you are looking to call in experiences where you don't have to be, to liberate yourself from having to hold the weight and hold the space. We are embarking on something new, and that means that we have to overcome something, and there is a way to do that. Perhaps some creative thinking is required, but you have the right attitude this month. You know, it just feels like there's some momentum in place, there's a newfound motivation. May as a month in 2024 feels like quite a stabilizing influence after the ruckus of April and the intensity that that brought with it. And it's very much about your emotional response to everything that's just gone on the last few weeks. And what you're showing me with the Fool is that you have the confidence and the belief that says, you know what, even in some uncertainty, even in the unknown, I'm still prepared to take this step, to take this risk and to bet on myself. And I think that that feeling throughout the month is going to be incredibly beneficial for you, so that you continue to find a way to flow with the energy and not fight against it. We enter the month with Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius. Over the next few months, we continue to reflect on themes of control and power, the degree to which that has caused us to reflect, and now we look for ways to grow from the experience. And I think you are seeing very clearly through this month and all the way through the next few weeks the ways in which you have outgrown many experiences, many people, many situations. The question is, of course, what do you do with that? And as we approach the new moon in Taurus on the 7th, it is a reminder, I think, that sometimes we have to kind of take matters into our own hands and we have to be the architect of our own life. You yourself are the one that's striking up conversations here. You have something to build on, and I feel like it's now time to start networking with that, to start communicating and articulating that message, that vision, that idea, that thought that you're having about how to materially improve something, where the focus or the attention needs to go. So you're taking like kind of a role here that feels like it's incredibly beneficial for you, but at the same time also shows people quite clearly where you're at without necessarily having to say it. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, if you're trying to get your point across, I think even messaging and communicating and, you know, where your priority is or what you're doing or what you're going to be up to, like it just shows them like this is where you stand. And I think that's all that's needed. That's all that's necessary. And if there's a feeling like something can't work, there's a reminder that sometimes we need to look at the environment that we're trying to make it blossom in. You know, sometimes it's not that there's anything inherently wrong with the seed or the flower, it's just that the circumstances are not providing the nourishment, or there's something that's missing. So I want you to reflect on that message in different areas of your life, particularly around that new moon in Taurus, because you might make an adjustment with regards to the environment of something, where you're doing it, or you know what you're trying to grow in a particular situation, and then see quite clearly what it is that might need to shift or change. I think there's also this realization for you in May where you have been repeatedly like doing things that are breaking your own heart. You know, it's almost this like, why am I still doing this? So that realization also might land soft as a feather, it might come down like a great thud. Nonetheless, the awareness that it fosters within you is also something that's incredibly beneficial in this earth energy, which of course speaks your language and just helps you to feel like it's more easy to reach those thoughts and make sense of them in your own mind. And we've got Ceres, the asteroid goddess, stationing retrograde in your sign on the 14th of the month. And she's really going to support you in this way, Capricorn, to figure out how to survive. And although that might sound dramatic, it's almost like when you address like the shifting, changing circumstances, and you find that you've been particularly drawn to try to recapture or get back to a particular experience or set of results or state of being, and the realization that that can't exist anymore. And so Ceres is sort of here to illuminate, we are where we are now. So how do we adapt? How do we thrive in this environment? How do we survive this set of experiences? Which requires us to be very open-minded. And the Three of Cups, along with that Page of Wands, tells me that you're also incredibly open to other people's perspective. You're open to new ideas, to new approaches, new attitudes, and there's something quite refreshing about that. You're quite hungry for it, in fact. It's like, what, if there's a better way, show me. Like, I'm all ears, like I'm all in. I want to listen, I want to understand. Because the discord that you may be feeling is certainly, as I said, testament to the fact of how much you've grown. I think there's something also interesting about the talk, in inverted commas, that you end up having with somebody, which could be, very intentional and planned, something that's been put off or that you've had to revisit, or it might just end up being, something that, started out quite fleetingly and ended up becoming something actually quite intense, but quite powerful in the discoveries that it led to, either a realization or awareness within yourself, or it sparked a debate or acted as a catalyst for a new idea and inspiration. So the talk, as you will almost refer to it when you come through the end of the month, proving to be deeply valuable for you as well. Think about May as being everything that wants to show you where you're at on an energetic level, and also help you to have opportunities to come forth with a new emotional response. And as you do, you can really identify the growth that's taken place within you, and that gives you more confidence. And it's also going to help you to figure out, especially through Taurus season, what is it that's going to continue to nourish and sustain me? What fuels me? Because that's going to help dictate where the priorities are going to start to shift for you. Ace of Swords, love that. The breakthrough, the focus, the clarity that arrives as a result of you having taken some degree of a leap of faith, or what is perceived perhaps by some or even by yourself as being quite risky, ends up being the very thing that just kind of dispels some myth, that clears the fog. It seems to highlight to you with an increasing amount of clarification why this needs to be the path that you take. And remember, the Fool, the Ace, like this is new energy coming in. So we don't always have a lived experience that we can compare it to. And if you find yourself trying to do that, for a moment, just take stock and say, you know what, like this is trying to tell me something new, something different, something I haven't come up against before. How willing am I to just hold back without judgment to kind of see where that goes, how I'm responding to that in every way, mind, body, soul, because that's again demonstrating to you the degree to which you are evolving past some of the sort of knee-jerk patterns or the more impulsive tendencies that might have sort of led you down to a more restrictive outlook and view of actually where this is taking you, right? Pallas Athena, asteroid goddess, is also going retrograde in Scorpio on the 16th, and that also brings us the opportunity to have those difficult conversations and figure out a better way forward. And for you, Six of Pentacles coming in, that means, how do we get to a situation where there's an improved reciprocity, where we can look at the generosity of spirit involved in this situation, we can give and take, we can find the balance, you can get what you need, like you find that your needs, wants and desires are being met. Well, that requires us to actually advocate for them and communicate them. So sometimes when we get incredibly frustrated, you might have found that all the way through April, the intensity of situations, now kind of storm settles a little bit and we're in that place of going like, well, okay, we have to do something different here. I have to do something different here. And you're motivated on that front. And it will bring in a more consistent experience for you overall if you allow it. You know, Pallas Athena wants to help us from a mental, logical perspective to implement a new strategy. Yeah, that's the way that she can show up. And remember, in Scorpio, there's a component of having to rebirth the whole situation, but also going into those areas that feel difficult, that feel taboo, that feel intense and deep. But there's something really cathartic about that happening, and the groundedness of Taurus season kind of holds you and helps you to do that. Now, we've got some really lucky auspicious dates coming through this month. The 18th, the Sun and Jupiter aligning. And there's a lot of growth that can take place through the course of this month, and in surprising ways actually open up avenues for you, particularly from a financial perspective of either ideas or actual tangible real solutions to things that can start to bring in more. So you just feel like the breather comes, and I think that's what May is really representing. It feels like a bit of a breather month for many, to just take stock and to kind of really think and be considerate about what is going to be sustainable here, because that's going to give you a clear indication of, if it hasn't already been forced, what changes or adjustments am I going to make this month that are going to help support, where I want to get to. We're coming up toward the middle part of the year, how are you reflecting back on those promises you made to yourself back in January, So, full moon in Sagittarius arriving 23rd. Again, a positive astrological conversation playing out with Venus, Jupiter. And I feel for you, again, this is a time of culminating, a surrender to something, 12th house energy for you. But in doing so, it almost just feels like the weight of the world got lifted. There's something that you are just prepared to do. And perhaps previously it was like a step too far, a bridge too far. It was like, can't compromise on that, can't sacrifice this, that's like not an option, non-negotiable. And there's a change of heart, I think. There's a change of heart for you coming up towards that full moon. Because honestly, like, you look at the consequences of things and you're like, well, okay, like I can see the negative consequences like coming quite clearly, but actually there's a bigger positive consequence here for me. Law of cause and effect. And it's like, it's choosing it all and just saying, actually, okay, like I'm prepared for this because I can see the opportunity or the growth that exists for me. So however that translates into your personal experiences, that moon is quite a powerful one for you. And of course, it's also setting this scene, revelationary wise, to, see kind of behind the curtains with regards to something. It's almost like you get to see how something works behind the scenes, or that could translate in terms of like, seeing into someone's way of doing things, or like why they feel how they feel. But it's almost like you're given access, you're given insight, and that comes like twofold. One, telepathically, because you'll be noticing how much more you're realizing or about to experience what someone's about to say. Your intuition, your psychic ability, it's changing. You can see how rapidly. But also that on a practical level, you're literally being told or shown or invited to see. Three of Wands here. I really like this. It's a strong read for you this month. It just feels quite refreshing, and it feels really open to me. I just feel like you're in a very open-minded place, and that's really positive because it will result in open doors and new experiences being able to come in for you. Now, Jupiter, of course, changing sign this month into Gemini on the 25th. Pace gets accelerated. Jupiter amplifies and expands. In Gemini, the communication, the news, the information, the way we use technology, moving at lightning speed. There's a splintering energy that happens here. We have to hold space for what the third option could be. What's right, what's wrong, what's real, what's fake. You're going to have to decide for yourself what you want to align with, what your values are. Otherwise, you could be in the pinball machine getting, pushed here, there and everywhere as you align with different things that change on such a rapid basis, and then seem to fall away and have no real substance or depth. At the same time, incredible opportunities for communicating, expressing your message, getting things out there, utilizing technology in new ways to be able to share creative ideas and solutions, and you yourself finding new opportunities for creativity that really light up things that you love and what you feel passionate about. And all of that kind of coming in a seed way toward the end of May, and of course working with that energy over the next few months will be an exciting but also quite confronting, polarizing experience for all of us, right? You're going to walk your talk this month as well in regards to something. That Three of Wands tells me, you know, you're prepared to step up. You'll be asked to step up in some regards, and you will. If you're new to the channel, Capricorn, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading, talk for another 30 minutes or so. You'll also be able to get insight to a personal question and a relationship card. The link is below. I hope you'll join me. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify these cards and see some of the direction we will be taking your reading in for you. Now, you can also check out over on my website, romywiser.com, the sacred titles that I have, which is Life Soul Vision Oracle deck and my book, MUSINGS. What you'll also find there is my Sacred Soul Support, which is a whole library of guided meditations, a membership group, and also ways to work with me. So please take a moment, if you're new, to go and experience what I have on offer. We've got another full energy coming through for you this month. We also had another Ace of Swords, I noticed. 9 of Wands, the Hermit coming through here. 2 of Wands, 9 of Cups. All the decks always listed below for you as well. Wheel of Fortune, some strong majors coming in here. 7 of Swords, interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. This is my own deck. Please do take a moment to check it out over on the website. Okay, we have Rise in Love. We've got Spirit Wolf. Casting Out Constellations. We've got Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender. We've got Cosmic Rebellion. Portals of Possibility. Love those for you this month. And we're going to pull a couple more oracle cards for messages to explore in our extended reading. So what do we have for Capricorn for the month of May? Retribution. Interesting. Okay. And finally, Imram. Okay, look forward to exploring these messages with you. Thanks for being here. Have a beautiful month of May. Take good care, and I'll see you again next time.